Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Last Resort, a memoir of mischief and mayhem on a family farm in Africa, by Douglas Rogers, narrated by Kevin Hanssen. It is one of the strange discoveries a man makes that life, however you lead it, contains moments of exhilaration. There are always comparisons which can be made with worse times. Even in danger and misery, the pendulum swings. Graham Greene, The Power and the Glory. This book is a work of memoir. It is a true story based on interviews, conversations, and my best recollections of events over the past 10 years in Zimbabwe and before. While the people and stories portrayed in this book are all true, I have changed some names to protect identities. In the service of narrative, in some instances, I have compressed conversations that might have taken place over a longer time period. 1. Phoning home. I was 5,000 miles away, drunk and happily unaware at a friend's birthday party in Berlin, when I learned that the first white farmer had been murdered. Someone had left a television on in the corner of the apartment. I knew, even with the sound off, that it was a news report on Zimbabwe. There's something about rich red earth, the color of blood, that you can never wash away, no matter how far you've traveled or how long you've been running. It was a Sunday afternoon, April 16, 2000. For the previous month back in Zimbabwe, the government of President Robert Mugabe had been threatening to take away land from the country's 4,500 white farmers. Gangs of armed men, said to be veterans of the liberation war that had ended white rule 20 years earlier, had begun invading white-owned land, assaulting black farm workers, looting homes, burning tobacco barns, and stoning dogs, pigs, and cattle to death. Still, it was a shock to discover that a farmer had now been murdered. His name was David Stevens. He had been savagely beaten and then shot in the face and back at point-blank range with a shotgun after a mob abducted him from his farm in the district of Macheki. I'd been out of Zimbabwe for 7 years, travelling, writing, drinking away my late 20s and early 30s in the rootlessness of London, but I knew that Macheki was only an hour's drive from my parents' game farm and backpacker lodge in the eastern mountains of the country, and that they were in terrible danger. If they didn't leave fast, they would surely be murdered as well, and it would be a brutal, bloody, all-too African end. They would die like this man, Stevens. I frantically dialed their number and waited for what seemed like hours to get a connection. My mother finally answered. She sounded on edge, her voice high-pitched through the static. "Hello? Yes? Who's this?" "Mom, it's me, Douglas. Jesus, what's happening? Are you guys all right?" "It's terrible," she said. I pictured her and my father barricaded in the house, a mob rattling their gates. "What's happening? Mom, what's happening?" "We've already lost 4 wickets." "4 what?" "4 wickets, darling. Not going very well at all. It's 91 for 4. Christ. She and my father were watching a cricket match. I could hear the crackle of the commentary on the TV in the background. I wasn't sure whether to be relieved or horrified. "Jeez, Ma, not the cricket, the farm. Have you any idea what's going on? This guy has been murdered up the road from you. Are you sure you're okay?" There was a long pause, as if I had sucked the air out of a balloon. I heard her take a drag of her cigarette. She would have a drink nearby, Bull's brandy on the rocks. She'd switched from Gordon's gin years ago, said it gave her headaches. I could picture my father clearly now too, down the passageway, around the corner in the living room, feet up in his leather recliner. The remote would be in one hand, a mug of Coke in the other, and he would be cursing at the new batsman for playing a loose shot. "Move your bloody feet! Get into line! Ah, hit the ball for Christ's sake!" Dappled late afternoon sunlight would be streaming through the arches of the veranda, illuminating the purple crests of the mountains behind and setting on the wheat fields of the farms in the valley below. Those farms could have been on fire for all my parents knew. "Oh, that!" my mother finally said, her voice fading through the static. "Yes, well, doesn't look very good, does it? I guess we're just going to have to wait and see." Wait and see didn't seem a wise option to me. I told her I thought it best they pack up fast and lie low, whether in Mutare, the closest town, in another valley over the mountain pass 12 miles away, or, even better, across the border in Mozambique. Mozambique? It sounded absurd just suggesting it. Mozambique had been at war for most of my childhood. People fled Mozambique for our side of the border. But, like the seasons, in Africa the state of nations turns and occasionally comes full circle. Yes, Mozambique. Anywhere would be safer than Zimbabwe. But my parents, I discovered on that phone call, were not going anywhere. "Darling," my mother said, "don't be ridiculous. We are Zimbabweans. This is our land." And then I heard steel in her voice, fury rise in her throat. "Over my dead body will they take this place. Over my dead body." By the time I put down the phone, my mother was asking me how I was, and when I was going to come and visit again. She had the stoic, breezy air of someone who had lived through a lot, and expected to live through this too. She had seen worse. "How are they?" my friend asked when I returned to the party. "They're watching cricket," I said. "They have no idea what's going on." 2. If we build it, they will come. The plane dropped out of a cloud and arrowed in on a black strip bordered by wilted maize fields. A mid-morning glare rippled the wings and glinted off the few modest skyscrapers of Harare, the capital city. Exiting the aircraft, I was smacked square in the face by the bright fist of an African sun. My pasty skin, from another English winter, told me I was a foreigner in my own country. My travel document said the same thing. After 9 years in London, I had finally qualified for a British passport and put my useless Zimbabwean one, the old green mamba, back in my desk drawer. At last. No more interminable queues for visas in the second-rate consulates of the first-world countries I rarely wanted to be visiting at that time. Yet I couldn't help feeling a slight flush of embarrassment as I handed it to the immigration official. You lose something of yourself when you return to the country of your birth under the convenience of another. The officer thumbed through it with exaggerated indifference. "Occupation?" I could have said journalist, the title I usually gave myself as a struggling freelance writer in London, and I was here on an assignment from a British newspaper to write about the upcoming presidential elections. But it wasn't a good time to be coming into Zimbabwe as a journalist. The Mugabe government was detaining reporters, expelling foreign correspondents, rejecting media visas. It had recently firebombed the offices of a local newspaper. "A cocktail bar critic," I said, repeating what I had written on the form. It sounded ludicrous, but it wasn't even a lie. I had found a rewarding sideline the past 3 years, reviewing fashionable cocktail bars around the world for the website of an Irish whiskey company. I had a slick, laminated business card. I could even give him the web address if he needed it. Besides, I was much more of a travel writer anyway, a leisure and lifestyle guy, not...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?